you know. But there's room for so many others now, and so many other ways, and there's going to be crossovers completely. The value, how do you say, the value of a film that's like a theme park film, for example, the Marvel type pictures, where the theaters become amusement parks. That's a different experience. And it's not even. I was saying earlier, it's not cinema. It's something else. You know, whether you go for that or not, but it is something else, and we shouldn't be invaded by it. And so that's a big issue. That's a big issue, and we need the theater owners to step up for that. You see, to allow theaters to show films that are narrative films. A narrative film could be one long take for 3 hours too. You know, it doesn't have to be everybody. It doesn't have to be a conventional beginning, middle, and end. But anyway, if that answers your question, okay.
Thanks. Emma and Jane, anything you want to add to that? As the people have to find the money to do this? You don't have to. It was only if you wanted to.
What was the question?
It was about really how whether cinema has reached a point where it's changing, when you've got the option of having the streaming, well, as it were in this case, the Netflix option.
What he said.
The one point to add to what Marty said is that it will be in theaters, and even when it goes on platform,
right.
it still will continue to be in theaters. So audiences have their choice of whether they're going to watch it in theater and have an amazing cinema community experience, or they want to watch it on a platform. Roma, for example, is still in theaters, around the world. So again, it's the audience has the choice of how they want to view something, and they're not mutually exclusive.
Thank you. Yes, next question.
In a sense, Mr. Scorsese leading on, Helen Barlow from Australia and covering for Portugal as well. Hi. Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in America that starred Mr. De Niro was a film perhaps more similar to this one. Do you think that there are any references to that film here, in that it's a long film and not as perhaps action-packed as your earlier gangster films? Because I think the earlier gangster films were very different to this.
Well, in this underworld milieu, yeah, I mean, well, I guess the similarity is it's very long and Bob is in it. He was Leone, but there was no way that I was thinking I was doing Sergio. There's no way. I can't do that. I just intuitively made the movie, and I told Bob, when we were trying to get raise the finance, I said, I know how to do this. I said, I have a thought. I know how to follow it through, and I just went with that.
But how is it different to your earlier gangster films, though?
How does it relate to them? Well, you know, back in 1973, we were 29, 30 years old. Now, we're much older. And so we hope that maybe the vantage point of time, that something has evolved and maybe deepened to a certain extent about life, really. And if that could be conveyed in the story and the performances and the way the film's put together, and that would be some sort of advancement, rather than just replicating what we had done in the past.
Thank you.
Hi guys, Thomas Cross here from FM104 in Ireland, and I just want to say, what did it feel like looking at yourselves younger for the first time when you were looking back at the movie? Was it a bit crazy?
Well, considering everything is crazy, it was crazy. I don't know quite what you mean, though. I'm sorry. What are you saying?
Like just with the new technology and all that, like this opens up everything that anyone can play, anyone or anything now. Does it open up a brand new world for everyone?
Well, I don't feel that way personally. I mean, but maybe it does for, you know, this is a technique that's early on, you know, it's being formed. It's like what they have said. It's a form of makeup, you know, and it could change things, and but I don't think you feel that way as an actor. I think you feel that as an actor, you're playing a role, and a role that more than likely, hopefully, you're suited for. And so when you do that, all bets are off, really. I mean, it doesn't matter. I know it doesn't matter what you look like. You know, this is sort of true in a way, because I saw the film. You showed it to me, they showed it to me without anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I just went with it, and I didn't think anymore that this was a story. It was so handled in such a way, it was delivered in such a way, directorially, visually, costumes, everything, and also in the acting. And so I felt that was what was taking me up.
Mm-hmm.
A story. I wasn't thinking about anything else after a while. I mean, I didn't even think about it when it first started. Of course, it was me. I'm a little sort of. I wasn't thinking about the lines in our faces or anything. I just was accepting these people. They existed too. That's another thing. This was an interesting thing to try with, because it's a story about real things that happened, people who really lived, and I don't know, maybe that had something to do with in my reaction to it. So this whole thing to me is innovative, of course, but at the same time, you tell a story, and in the end, that's what I'm a little bit more. I'm a little more concerned about that. And as I say, I did see the film without any work, or any, what do you call this stuff?
Effects.
Effects. Okay. And it was fine. As a matter of fact, I'm not the only one who felt that way.
Yeah.
Other people who
I
had
know.
seen it
Right,
before it
no.
happened.
I mean, unless you're looking for it, right? So, oh, there it is, and then.
I think it's really good that we have that in the film, that we have this potential, and it's exercised in the film. It's stating what it's stating. In the old days, they put, some actor that we all knew and loved, and they put gray hair on him, and you'd say, oh, he got older. But you'd accept it, you'd accept it, because it was makeup, and you went with it because it was in the story. I don't know what, I'm going too far here. I feel as though I'm digging a hole for myself on something. I don't even know what. I'm sorry.
Do you want to say a little about when you saw yourself?
Yeah. I always joke that my career will be extended another 30 years. No, it's a whole interesting thing, because where it will evolve, as far as, I was just thinking about copyrights and later and you and likeness and this and who gets it after we're all long gone, families and stuff like that. I mean, they even have that now in some ways with using famous actors from years ago in commercials who have created a certain whatever, that they represent what that product is, whatever. So all that stuff, I don't know. I'm just happy we're at the beginning stages of it really being explored, and God knows where it will go.
Yeah.
And what excited me about it was that Pablo Hellman was doing this thing and wanted to make it state of the art, the best it could be to date. And that was an ambition for this movie, which was ambitious always, all the time. It fit the whole thing. Yeah.
See, it's also how we move, remember?
Yeah, well,
It's a
that
big
too.
thing, how you move. These are the little things in there, you're going along looking pretty, and then you go to get up, and so someone come by us and just say, hey man, what are you doing? You're 39.